YouTube Ozzy the Goat House is back with an updated NFL mock draft. A way too early NFL mock draft here in NFL Week 4. We got all kinds of predictions on the channel, plenty more to come for each and every single week, so please subscribe to the channel. But had to do this mock draft because we got the first week of SEC football, but we've had a couple weeks of plenty of college football, but obviously still more to come. Big Ten, Pac-12 coming back. But SEC is the real deal, so that kind of got me in the mood. A lot of draft prospects that I got to evaluate a little more this week. We have last year to base things off of, now this year, and a lot more to go this season, so things will definitely change. So this is a way too early mock. And for the order, I used my power rankings. Obviously, reverse order power rankings, and obviously some teams have other teams' first-round picks. The Dolphins have the Texans, the Jags have the Rams, and the Jets have the Seahawks first-round picks. So that was factored in as well. So power rankings, reverse order. If you haven't seen the power rankings, go check them out. Again, plenty of NFL coverage here. We'll update mock drafts here and there. Twitter, constant NFL and NFL draft talk there. We have an Instagram podcast, Patreon, plenty more. So if you can check those things out, link in the description. Comments. Patreon has junior score predictions, my locks of the week, college football score predictions, top 25 games every week, updated playoff predictions for the NFL, bonus content, Discord access, much more. In the offseason, we have NFL draft coverage constantly on there as well, updated mock drafts constantly. To the mock draft. So, again, power rankings, reverse order. That's how I did this. Things will change. Power rankings are updated weekly. I expect things to change very much. So, I don't think this will actually be the order. This is more about getting to know the prospects here or what teams would take. Trevor Lawrence, I have the first pick. I'm not a Sam Darnold guy. Have never been. Sure, he has some potential. You take Trevor Lawrence. He's much, much better. Even day one, he's much better. But realize the potential here. This is one of the best quarterback prospects of all time. I think the bonus, and what is key here, is his ability to move around. With his legs, outside the pocket mainly, kind of escape sacks, move outside the pocket, throw on the run. But his ability to move, run downfield. We saw it in the Ohio State playoff game last year. That is pretty key for me in today's NFL. I think, kind of just the only, even if they have a great arm, the pocket passing quarterbacks are kind of just dead. You got to be able to move, in my opinion. The Giants take Penei Sewell, who's one of the better tackle prospects in some time here out of Oregon. Just a beast of a dude. I think you play in any scheme, any scheme. If it's man blocking, if it's zone blocking, I think you can do either. Man blocking is very hard, because you're just the power blocker there, and he has the strength to do that. So this guy is that good. They did just draft Andrew Thomas. I kind of got the feeling that Andrew Thomas would be better at right tackle, seeing him some reps out of Georgia there. And I thought that's what the Giants would do with him until Nate Solder opted out, who was going to be their left tackle. And he's not part of the future, obviously. So they get Penei Sewell. I think they probably play Sewell at left tackle because that's a little more of an important spot, and he's that good. And they move Andrew Thomas to right tackle. Either way, they can flip him. I'm still good with it. And the Giants would go that route there at pick 2. The Bengals might surprise some people, but you can't reach, and that's what kind of where people go wrong. You can't reach. So this could be a trade back spot. Way too early to do trades. Gregory Russo is by far the best edge rusher in this draft class for Miami. He did opt out. Really good pass rusher off the edge. Freaky dude, really good traits. The bonus is that he can move inside. I've actually seen him move as far inside his nose tackle, which I wouldn't really suggest you play him there in the NFL. Play him at edge, but you can play him there at times. You can get creative, but he can slide in and play a 3 technique at the D tackle position as well. It's a freaky dude. It's sad that we don't get to see him, but the Bengals' biggest need is offensive line, so that's why people might be surprised. Penei Sewell, who they'll be dying to get, is off the board. It would be too much of a reach for the next tackle or guard, in my opinion. So you take your next biggest need, which is edge rush. They desperately need some edge rush, which I think is one of the most important. It is one of the most important things in football. So that they get help there. So well worth the pick there. Broncos, I think this is probably a trade back spot. I think they like Drew Lock enough to pass on the next best quarterback after Trevor Lawrence. If they got the first pick, I think they would take Trevor Lawrence. I think almost every single team would. More teams than you would probably think would take Trevor Lawrence 1. But they need a corner pretty bad. Vic Fangio, if he's still there, which I think he will be because they're only losing at this time because of injuries, he's all about his defense, and their one spot where they're lacking on defense is cornerback. And this guy, Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech, who opted out, is long. He's lengthy and extremely athletic, has the physicality too. Vic Fangio will love this guy. It's an upgrade at corner. So they probably go that route. Tough decision here. I actually gave the Vikings a quarterback here, Justin Fields from Ohio State. It's tough to decide if they would actually do this or not. And that's another team that will be pounding the table for a guy like Penei Sewell, but he is off the board. And the reason I want Justin Fields because he is a very good prospect. I've always believed in Kirk Cousins. Not the point where I think he's gonna win the Super Bowl or anything. But I think he's a pretty solid quarterback. I think he has accuracy, and he's dealing with a lot of stuff right now with one of the worst offensive lines in football. But the problem is, going back to what I said earlier, is I think the pocket passing quarterbacks are dying. You need to be able to move outside the pocket, throw on the run, and you need to be able to move the run downfield. So that's where I'm kind of, even though I believed in Kirk Cousins, I believe in his accuracy, I believe in his arm. That's where it's kind of dying for me on Kirk Cousins. So, and that's what Fields brings extra to the table. So another thing that factors in, yes, people, you may think the Vikings just extended Kirk Cousins. That is correct. But if you actually look at the contract, he's really only a sure thing next year. So in 2021. So in this scenario, and they're able to cut him after that. So it's not really a long-term extension. So in this scenario, it may actually start Cousins for one more year and keep Fields on the bench. I definitely can see them doing that while they try to find some offensive line here. I think it'd be too much of a reach for some offensive linemen at this point. So I think they get there, which is a need, quarterback of the future, maybe not right now, in Justin Fields. Eagles are very much lacking at the linebacker position, maybe the worst linebacker unit in football, one of those. Mike Parsons is very, very much a beast, because he kind of does it all. I would like him to go to a 4-3 team like the Eagles because you can use him as a blitzing outside linebacker as well and almost play him off the edge at times. But he's mainly an off-the-ball linebacker, can drop in coverage, can stop the run. Eagles would love to have him. Washington desperately needs another number one receiver to pair with Terry McLaurin. Jamar Chase is one of the best wide receiver prospects I've ever seen, and that's because he's a total package. He's at the top of every category. He's not just great at some things and then could get better at some things. I don't even know where to begin with him. He's a fantastic route runner. He has the speed. He has the quickness, the footwork is ridiculous. I think that's what kind of goes unnoticed because his big-time plays are downfield, beating corners with his speed, with his smarts, but with his physicality, with his strength as well, using his length to kind of fight off the cornerback in a legal way. Sometimes it'll look like borderline pass interference, but they'll never call it. And then making that spectacular grab. That's where his highlights are. What will go unnoticed is his quickness on kind of the underneath things. He gives guys a ride. He gives good cornerbacks a ride. They're just trying to play keep up with them just because, he's not a 4-3 guy. He could run in the 4-3. I'd say about 4-4-0 around there. He could run 4-3-8 around there. But we'll say he's not a 4-2 guy, but because of his footwork, how smart he is, he throws guys for a loop. He gives them a ride, and he is one of the best receiver prospects, in my opinion, of all time. That's how good he is. I got the Falcons going Trey Lance, and Matt Ryan is really not the problem right now, even though he did throw that bad pick at the end of the Bears game, but he's not the problem right now. But how much longer does he have? I think it's a team where it's kind of boom or bust right now. It's a Super Bowl or bust, which I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. And if that's the case and you don't win it, you almost got to start getting ready for the future. I don't want to say tear it down, but pretty close to that because, they got to look for their future quarterback. Comes up again. Matt Ryan, very good quarterback, very accurate, arm strength there, big playability. But this is my opinion, but I feel very strongly about it. The pocket passing quarterbacks are dying. They're dying. You need to be able to move. You need to be able to move your ass. Plain and simple. You need to be able to move it. So go get yourself Trey Lance that could do that, but he also can throw. Need to be able to throw and run. He can do that. Hasn't played the best competition, and one thing that a knock on Trey Lance as a prospect and why some teams might be a little scared is that I think he only has thrown over 30 times one game. It's top of my head right now, but it's rare that he even throws over 25 times, and that, you want to see more. And why is that? It's because everything is going right. What's put him in a situation where everything isn't going right? Can he dig themselves out? Can he play well when things come from behind when things are going? So it's not really a negative because it's not really part of his game. It's just a mystery. It's more of a mystery, and teams will take that as a negative. But the talent is very much there. It's definitely a type of quarterback the Falcons could be interested in the future, and I think they'll have should have a new coach. And they, when you're looking for new offensive-minded coaches, that they're usually the future, the new school type of offense. So they'll be interested. Might surprise people here. Kyle Trask at number 9. And we definitely need to see more. It's an overreaction mock a little bit. Even though I don't think it's too much. I didn't make it to not make it realistic. It's realistic. But you do have to base some things off one game here. A little more than one game. But because we are week 4 in the NFL. But Kyle Trask impressed last year, kind of getting thrown in there. He really, really, again, it's only one game, but he really, really impressed me in that Ole Miss game. Mainly the pocket presence. He is so patient, sometimes a little too patient, but it's a good thing. He's patient and he's very relaxed. He feels the pressure. He doesn't panic at all. And that is the most impressive thing. Like, he kind of developed NFL pocket presence all of a sudden. And that is an extremely, extremely good thing. And teams will be impressive. He can move outside the pocket. He has a strong arm. He's a strong dude. Little glimpses of Josh Allen here. The strength, the build. The Jaguars. People have liked Gardner Minshew. People believe in Gardner Minshew. I'm not a big, he's a solid quarterback. I'm not a big believer. You're looking for more than just a starting quarterback to win more than just games in the NFL. The ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl. So I believe you get much, much better. That's my opinion, but I think you get much better with a guy like Trask if he continues to play he does, the way he has been. Another thing, I do think the Jags are looking for a quarterback for the reasons I explained, because they almost need to. They kind of got to simplify their offense because Minshew's inability to throw downfield. They know they're looking for a quarterback. There was a reason they put Foles back in. There's a reason they had Foles. There's a reason they drafted Minshew late. There's a reason they put Foles back in at one point. There's a reason they're trading guys away, getting ready for the future, collecting picks. What do you collect picks for? To trade up to get a quarterback most of the time, not in every case. They're looking for a quarterback. I can promise you they are looking for a quarterback of the future. They believe in Minshew. They believe in him, but they're still looking to get better in a spot where you definitely got to get better. Trask, I'm very impressed. Definitely a guy I'm looking forward to watching more. Chargers going to Notre Dame guy. Surprise. Everyone can see that one. It's Notre Dame's NFL team over there. Liam Eichenberg, definitely one of the better tackles. Hesitant to put him, top 10, but yeah, I safe around here. Very consistent. Notre Dame keeps pumping out really good offensive linemen. The Chargers got to keep their future, which is Herbert, protected. They need a little more help there on the outside. They could be okay with guard. So they they don't have too many needs, honestly, too many giant needs besides tackle, I think. Just about staying healthy out there. They could use an edge rusher of the future because Ingram's time is coming to an end, even though he's a very important piece and they could extend him, but a very important piece there. But there's really no edge rusher worthy of this pick. So Eichenberg there. Dolphins right now have 2 picks in a row because of them, because of the Texans. Jaylen Waddle, freaky dude. Just a rare set of, he put it on display, when now because they had Judy, they had Ruggs, so now more of an opportunity for Waddle. We've seen it in flashes, glimpses here and there, see the returning ability, but see him against Missouri, and I don't even care who they play, and Missouri isn't like a bad team or anything. Maybe it's a bad SEC team, that's different. But this is not only is he freaky with his athletic ability, his catching ability, his after the catch ability, he is smart, and that's what he showed me in that game against Missouri. A lot of production, a lot of big time plays, but what specifically he showed me was going up and getting the ball at the right times too. There was a downfield throw early where he was going full speed, and we all know how fast he is, full speed in stride, and usually in stride or catching a ball like that, jumping for the ball is a no-no, because it makes it tougher. It's really not necessary. It's not a high point type of catch, but he jumped and it was the right decision. It was a rare right decision because the defenders were closing in. So what he had to do, think about what this guy had to do. He had, while running full speed, had in stride, had to jump at a pretty high point. He got up and make a contested grab. That's all a crazy part. The biggest part to me is the knowledge part. while tracking the ball. While tracking the ball, he was able to read the safeties, the DBs closing in at the same time and knowing exactly when he had to jump to beat those defenders to the ball at its highest point. That is a crazier play than it will go unnoticed how crazy that play is. I know it's one play, but I've seen enough of Jaylen Waddle, a collection of things last year, so far this year, to put him here. Shocker here, I have a running back at number 12. And the running back position and the value of the position is kind of dying. I agree with that. And you guys know I haven't really put running backs this high in some time. It's dying. You see the difference of getting a running back in the first round and a guy that you get undrafted even, there's not that much of a difference. So it's rightfully, the value is, the position's not dying. The value is dying, rightfully. And that's because it's a passing league. That's because it's a passing league right now as well. That's mainly the part. But you look at Jaylen Hill, Mississippi State running back. It's only been 1 week, but we got a collection of things last year. I'm very confident this will be the first running back taken in the draft because of his receiving abilities. Let's backtrack a little bit. This guy last year was one of the best runners in the country. I had a second-round grade on him as a runner last year. Was surprised that he went back. Mississippi State gets Mike Leach. So what is the instant thought? Instant thought is, man, Jaylen Hill kind of got screwed over by this because Mike Leach passes some more. Wrong. We are all wrong. Because where the running back position is, you need to be able to catch the ball. And a running back that catches the ball at a very, very high level and that can catch the ball downfield, that can make people miss, still has very, very much still has the value. So you're going to take away runs from Jaylen Hill. What do you have, 8 carries in the first game? That kind of looks like a bad thing. It's wrong. It's not. You see how involved he was in the passing game, in the receiving game, and what he did in that game. Mike Leach coming to town boosted Hill and helped him showcase more of his abilities more. Go back and look at what he just did in that game against LSU in the passing game. Ridiculous. And exactly that weapon that teams are dying to have. And the Dolphins have filled most of their needs for the future, even though there's going to be times where they look like they have holes there, but it's just guys developing, getting better. They could go another offensive lineman here. The offensive line surprisingly looked pretty good, but they get 2 targets for Tua for the future. That'll make them that much more explosive, that much better. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from me first. Watch out for Jaylen Hill. It's bold to say it right now. It's very bold, but I think this will be the first running back off the board because he can run. He showed that last year, and now he can catch, and he can make people miss, much like let's say McCaffrey, more like Kamara, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Kamara just played the Packers, and then what Kamara just did against the Packers, Jaylen Hill he's not Kamara. He can be Kamara, and he's shown some glimpses of that. I can't wait to watch more of this guy. Wyatt Davis could be a pick for the Dolphins, could be a pick for one of those teams in the top 10. Maybe too early to pick a guard that's really not Quentin Nelson, not that guaranteed all-pro, guaranteed good perhaps for Wyatt Davis here. Panthers need some more help on the interior. They traded away Trey Turner, need a boost to stop the interior pressure, but mainly for McCaffrey running inside. Need a boost on the inside thing, so the Panthers go there. I thought about Kyle Pitts, strongly thought about it. Matt Rule doesn't really value the tight end, but Joe Brady does. Kyle Pitts, we'll talk about him. He's a different type of guy. So I think the Panthers would definitely be interested in him. But more importantly here, the best interior guard and best interior offensive lineman in the draft. Lions went with Devontae Smith. Maybe not their biggest hole. They don't have too many holes, really, the Lions. Kind of a balanced team. They could be looking for the quarterback of the future. 14 is kind of too late. They could be picking earlier in this. They're up in my power rankings. Again, this is a power rankings order. They're up in that, fresh off a good win against the Cardinals. But Kenny Golladay is an absolute stud. He needs more help for the future. I like Marvin Jones. He's not really a guy that's going to be around for much longer here. And other than that, it's just depth guys. Cephas is a depth. It's a good rotation guy. He's not a starter. You need multiple number ones in today's NFL. Devontae Smith has some similarities to Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay definitely has more in the underneath game because he can run after the catch a little better. But in terms of length, downfield ability, add another one of those guys opposite of Kenny Golladay, you're in some business here. This will help Stafford quite a bit. So I think he's worthy of the pick for sure. So this is a Lions type of receiver, I thought. Kyle Pitts, one of my favorite prospects. He might be my favorite prospect in the draft. I'm a big Jaylen Hill guy, as you can tell, but Kyle Pitts might be my favorite prospect in the draft. This might be the best receiving tight ends ever in the draft. Prospects ever. This guy is an absolute freak. I've had him in first rounds in my mocks in the past, and not too many people did, and you got to see what I was talking about in that first game against Ole Miss. Absolute freak. And underrated in the blocking category, can play in line. That's kind of what makes a top 15 pick. I guess his receiving ability, being able to be like a slot tight end, that alone kind of puts him up here, but having that inline ability is ridiculous. This is Darren Waller. This is another Darren Waller with maybe more upside here, probably more upside. Guy's an absolute freak, attacking the ball, route running, getting open. After the catch, see him do a no-look stiff arm against Ole Miss. This guy's been on my radar for some time. He's definitely helped his stock with that game, though. On my board, way too early board, he's going to be a top 10 player. So 15 is a steal. The Cowboys, yeah, they have Jarwin. Yeah, they have Schultz. I mean, this offense and they're building an offense there. They're building an offense. Yeah, they can probably use other things are probably a bigger need, but you don't want to reach and you don't want to pass on a guy like Pitts that can make that offense that much more dangerous. Kyle Pitts is a beast. Saints, Patrick Surtain, quarterback from Alabama, right in the same area of Caleb Farley. Might have more, maybe more of a resume, maybe more proof on the field than Farley. I think Farley will have it would be easier for people to fall in love with Farley because of his, the measurables, and the tape too, but the athletic ability, the physicality, all those things, the upside. But yeah, the Saints cornerbacks have been playing pretty poorly so far this year. They'll probably extend Lattimore, but that's really up in the air because will they reach an agreement? I can see him wanting more money than they'll be able to kind of give them, but that's kind of looking long term in the future there. Jenkins isn't he's actually played okay for the Saints compared to how he's been the Giants, but as you can see, they're going to need cornerbacks for the future, and Patrick Surtain is a very good one there. Definitely well worth the pick there for the Saints. Next group, not the biggest need from the Colts. Alex Leatherwood, I think, is a pretty good value pick, but mainly Anthony Costanzo, who's a very good tackle, thought about retiring and then signed a 2-year contract, so he could be done very soon. So this is kind of planning for the future. The Colts know how important that offensive line is. They want to keep the unit together, so let's keep it fresh here. Let's get what are the chances you're going to be able to get this when you have the hole? You don't want to go into a season with the hole and be scrambling to kind of get this. Get it now when you can. So Leatherwood to the Colts there. Could go receiver. But Dylan Moses is a no-brainer, I thought. Browns need a linebacker pretty bad. Dylan Moses is a heck of a prospect. Probably better than 18, but had that injury last year. So maybe drops a little bit, but a freaky dude. That can fly around the field there for the Browns. Cardinals might be a surprise. They really need another receiver. Yeah, they actually do. They might have more, bigger needs, but this is an offensive team. They're going to throw first. They shy away from the run at times. This is a dangerous team, but they have the dangerous pieces. Christian Kirk continues to be hurt. Larry Fitzgerald's probably about to retire. Isabella, I think, he's pretty good. He looked pretty good against the Lions, but he's kind of and he'll play. They run more wide receiver sets than anybody. Maybe a rotation guy there, but getting Rondale Moore, that speed, that guy that can get the ball anywhere on the field to help DeAndre Hopkins to open things up will be key for this offense, and they know that. Raiders, another one where it's not really a big need right now, but Richie Incognito, remember, was just retired at one point, and now he's hurt. He's not going to be around forever as well. And I think it's the most important thing about the Raiders with Derek Carr is keeping him protected. The offensive line is the most important thing on that team. And they just got the Clemson prospect. Obviously, he could be a guy of the future, but Trey Smith is just much, much better. He's a plug-and-play guy. Another guy that I think is probably better than the 20th overall prospect there, and he's just a beast. I like Trey Smith a lot. So keep the offensive line fresh will be key, the most important thing for the Raiders. Bears went a little bold here and had him taking a receiver. I do like Allen Robinson. I do like Anthony Miller. But they grab another one here, actually. They're going to be looking for the quarterback of the future here. But yeah, 21, a little late to grab one, in my opinion. They're not afraid to trade up. But Allen Robinson, it seems like they're pretty stubborn to extend him. Maybe they'd rather get a somewhat of an Allen Robinson type player and Rashad Bateman, who's a very good outside receiver, contested catch artist, and pretty darn good after the catch. Maybe they would rather go the cheaper route because Robinson may want too much money. Maybe don't want him long term. Maybe rather have the younger guy long term. So depending on what happens there, but they still could use this. We did see some drops, even though they came back and won against the Falcons. We did see some crucial drops, so they could use the guy either way, in my opinion. Rashad Bateman's well worth the pick there. We'll see what happens with Allen Robinson. Jaguars take Marvin Wilson, probably one of the better interior defensive linemen in this class, can move around a bit, freaky dude. The Jaguars definitely need some interior defensive line help. The Buccaneers, potential Donovan Smith replacement to kind of complete the offensive line. You take Walker Little out of Stanford, kind of been on people's radar for some time, was a pretty good prospect out of high school as well. So the Buccaneers don't really have a lot of needs. They don't really. I don't think they're going to overdraft. I do like Travis Etienne for them. I don't know about taking a running back that isn't, and he's gotten better in the passing game, receiving game, but maybe a little too early to take a running back. Just a normal running back at this point. But I kind of would like it. So that they go Walker Little, potential left tackle of the future. 49ers go Shaun Wade, who I think is potential to be a all-pro slot corner. He can play outside. He can maybe be drafted to play outside. But Shaun Wade is very good, very, very good slot corner. You see how Ohio State, when he was out, it affected them because how important that slot is. The Niners could use that, or they can use the outside. They do have Quan Williams there, but they get kind of get both with one guy here. Drafting one guy, you kind of get, 2 for 1 is what I'm trying to say. I think he can be a first round guy as an outside guy, but he also can be, I think, an all pro slot guy. So somebody to look out for there, in that way. And we got the last 8 picks. Jalen Twyman here from Pittsburgh, who opted out this year. Pretty good interior guy that can stop the run, but I think his interior pressure, his pass rush traits, keep him in the first round here. So the Patriots could use that from the interior for sure. It's definitely something they're lacking. Back-to-back Pittsburgh guys. Patrick Jones, kind of an under-the-radar edge rusher, very productive, getting after the quarterback and actually forcing fumbles as well. Pretty productive last year. Once again, already at this early stage this year. The Ravens, we kind of saw it against the Chiefs there that the only way they generate pressure really is from I shouldn't say the interior, but with blitzes. And some teams, like Mahomes, who you need to compete with, you can't really blitz against them. So you need to get some kind of pressure off the edge without blitzing. So they need edge rushers. Patrick Jones is kind of a new guy that's kind of popping my radar here in the back end of the first round. Titans defense has been pretty sloppy, and that's due to cornerback play. Adoree Jackson is out, but they actually may need another one for the future. The future looking at Adoree Jackson, Christian Fulton possibly could play in the slot. But Adoree Jackson's kind of like, is he a slot? Is he outside? He's very good at both, but which one is he? So getting a true outside guy, I think it would be key here. Paulson Adebo from Stanford, a guy that we talked about could have been a first rounder or early second if he came out last year. I think he's very good at attacking the ball once it's in the air, and that'll be pretty good for the Titans here. Dylan Radunes here, offensive tackle from North Dakota State. Looks like today's style tackle, a little more athletic. I think can play any scheme. He's kind of a guy that's popped into people's radar recently. The Steelers, offensive line's been okay, but I think you got to start looking out for the future here. They probably got to start looking out for quarterback in the future as well, but down here at 28, nothing really going. Villanueva is solid, but he's not going to last too much longer. They also could get better at the other spot as well. So got kind of a prospect for the future here, looking out for your future. The Bills take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from Notre Dame. Freaky dude all over the field, playing an off-the-ball linebacker, but he can blitz. He get after the quarterback because just how athletic he is. He can drop in coverage. He actually can cover from the slot. It's an all-around linebacker, kind of today's linebacker. A few years ago, it's weird because a few years ago, people probably would have moved him to safety just because how athletic but how undersized he is. But it's today's NFL linebacker. And it's interesting because the Bills mainly play with 2 linebackers in a nickel package most of the game, and they're set with those guys, with Tremaine Edmonds, who I love, and Matt Milano, who I love. But they do need a third linebacker when they do have 3 linebackers on the field. But like I mentioned, this guy can cover from the box. So it helps them in every category there, the third linebacker, but a guy that can stay on the field in third downs and cover. Another thing, they don't have Lorenzo Alexander anymore. He was that third linebacker that also was pretty good at blitzing off the edge, even though he wasn't an edge rusher. Like I said, Owusu-Koramoah can do that at a pretty high level. So everything points toward this guy being a Bills type of guy. It's probably not the biggest need, but it makes that defense that much better. The Jets go Justin Ross. They have this pick from the Seahawks, so I have the Jets taking Trevor Lawrence and his receiver who's not playing this year due to injury, Justin Ross, who's a freaky dude. If he was able to play this year, if there was no injury, he'd probably go much higher in this, much better pick. They get their quarterback that they need. They get their receiver that they need. Like that very much. Packers take Christian Barmore, who's supposed to be that Christian Barmore there. That's supposed to be that that next Bama guy to step up there. You definitely need to see more from him, but it's a guy we're expecting definitely to make that impact this year. The Packers actually have, for a top-tier contender, actually have some needs there. They could use D-line for next to Kenny Clark. That's what they go with here. Maybe receiver feels like a little less of a need than it once did. I thought about Seth Williams. I really like Seth Williams from Auburn. People are kind of shying away from the guys that don't have the quickness, the separation, which he's not bad at, but he's more of the contested catcher, but it feels like a Packers type of receiver. So I strongly thought about that, but who he came, the Packers are probably not taking a receiver in the first round, and a guy like Lazard has stepped up for them. They could use an inside linebacker. I just thought the best value and also a need here was Barmore. They could use another corner opposite of Alexander as well. The Chiefs go Creed Humphrey here, the guard from Oklahoma. And, they need to start looking out for the future with offense line in general because Schwartz and Fisher could be extended, in a way. They're a little tight on cap for the future. But they could be extended, but really not long-term options, so they could look to tackle. But the guard's been a little iffy, guys in and out, and you extend him Mahomes because he's the best player in football. You need to keep this guy protected. You don't want to get to a draft and already have the hole, because that means you would have went through the season with the hole. You want to keep this together. You want to make sure you have that next man up. So having Creed Humphrey, which most people have him going earlier, I think this is more of his range. I'm a little cautious, a little hesitant with the Big 12 offensive linemen. Plays are so quick. You don't have to block for so long. It's just keep the guy in front of you for a bit here. Not a lot of running plays and weak defense as well. So I am a little scared of Big 12 offensive linemen just based on that and then based off what the past has shown us. But Creed Humphrey is a pretty beastly dude as well. But I think this is more of his parts. A lot of other guys we could talk about. I talked about Travis Etienne. I talked about Seth Williams. Carlos Basham, another edge rusher that can sneak in. Quincy Roche from Miami, another guy that can sneak in. A couple edge rushers. There's really no standout edge rushers besides Miami's other one, Russo, who's not playing this year. Trying to think. There's a lot of receivers that can sneak in there. Quite a few guys. Maybe a quarterback that can be very sneaky is Tanner Morgan from Minnesota. A lot of good prospects we can always talk about, but it's too early to do more than one round here. But this is what I got. This is what I got here. So you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please smash that like button if you want more of these to come during the NFL season, even though they're way too early. Mock draft still very very fun. But yeah, plenty of other NFL content, power rankings, picks, score predictions, plenty more. Check it out. Please subscribe, turn notifications on. Check out that Twitter. It's a must follow. But that is going to do it for this one. Thanks everyone for watching. Goodbye.